So, I love doing makeovers, and most of you know that because if you've been following me, you've probably seen me post about 6 or more. Anyways, today we are going to be doing an Art Deco kitchen makeover. This is something I have been wanting to do for years now, but I haven't had the opportunity to do it because I've had restrictions, okay? Being a renter, you have restrictions, and I'm still a renter, but I don't really have that many restrictions this time around. So for this Art Deco makeover, we finally have free range to do whatever we want, and that's not something I'm used to. It actually made this makeover incredibly difficult. Yeah, it was quite a process. I've been working on this for about 2 months now. Now, I will be doing a lot of DIYs in this video. I kept this very budget friendly, so I hope you enjoy this video of me struggling quite a bit and finally coming to the completion of a 1920s kitchen, or I tried. Okay, let's get started. So this is my kitchen. The area I will be focusing on most is this breakfast nook. It's 3 feet by 6 feet. It's extremely tiny. And because it's tiny, I should go with lighter colors, but as you will see later in the video, I end up going with a much darker color just because that's what I prefer. But let me show you what my inspiration was when I was looking to design this kitchen. So I did look for authentic 1920s interiors, but it was very difficult to try to figure out how to bring that into my kitchen, especially with the furniture I already own. I think my building was built in the late 40s. So yeah, it was incredibly difficult, and I couldn't really find anything that I would want to mimic and put in my home specifically. Therefore, I started looking to one of my favorite video games, which is BioShock, because the entire game is 1920s. Although BioShock is technically a horror game, it does have some of the best concept art. So what I did was I watched some gameplays because I could not play through the entire game just to get some ideas. And I also found some concept art online for inspiration. And because these screenshots are so high quality, I could zoom into specific things to get ideas, which was really great when it came to design. So after I saw all these photos, I realized, okay, I want a green kitchen. And I wanted like an emerald green kitchen. So I looked up some ideas on Pinterest of a green kitchen design just to see how it might work with gold accents. And I absolutely loved it. And now it was time to draw up some mock designs. I highly recommend doing a mock-up design just so you have a visual to what you are going to create to see if it works. But keep in mind, it can be a little different once you see it in person. So I made a ton of different mock-up designs. This took me about over 8 hours to create all of them because I wanted to give myself options and make sure I was choosing the right one. I'm also very indecisive. Working in a space that gives me free range was really hard because I realized I could do anything I wanted. So ultimately I ended up going with this dark green. This was my original mock-up design, and I was very close to doing pink instead, but I felt it was too grand millennial, too modern, so the green seemed more opulent to me. And I thought keeping it simple might work out in my favor in the end. Let's bring this mock design to life, and it does end up changing quite a bit as I start designing things in real life because, of course, you know, you look at something on a screen and it's much different than being surrounded by those things and so on and so forth. First things first, we are going to paint. Oh my gosh, this looks really green. You can't even tell on the camera because it's too dark, but like I feel like when this is up, it's going to look extremely green, and I'm going to wish I went with a different color. This is not a muted color by any means. It's very bright. Like it's going to be like the ocean in here. I don't know, man. Too late to go back now. I don't know. What do you think about this? The reason I went with a lighter shade of green as opposed to the emerald that I originally wanted is because I know that my kitchen being small, a dark paint would make it feel even smaller. So I just went up a few shades, and as you can tell, it just looks awful. It looked really good on the paint card, but when it's surrounding you, awful. I don't like this at all. I don't like this color at all. It reminds me of a kid's playroom or a skating rink. It's giving 80s, not 20s. I got a new color. I decided to get on YouTube and do a bunch of research of people painting their homes green and seeing what colors they chose, and I found this Hunter Club green by Sherwin-Williams, and it's definitely more the color I wanted to go with originally that I was too afraid to go with because I thought it would be too dark for my space. But you know what, I just said screw it, I'm gonna go with the color I wanted. With the light shine in here, this is, maybe it doesn't look too bad, but I swear in person it's not great. I ended up going with the paint I originally wanted to begin with and decided to get over the fact it was going to make my space feel tiny. And what's crazy is it actually did. This is the first time I've ever painted a room knowing that a dark paint will make a room smaller. And I swear to you, every time I walk in the kitchen, it feels like I'm walking right into the wall. And when it was all white, I thought it was so much bigger. So it does suck that it does feel tinier than I wanted, but I did get the color I wanted, and I'm willing to sacrifice. For the trim, I was going to get chair rail paneling, but I decided that's too much work. I have paint. I'm just going to paint all the designs that I want instead of getting paneling and painting it black. I don't know. I just thought painting it would be so much easier because you don't need a saw to do it. So I decided to paint it, and I mean, you'll see at the end, I think it turned out pretty cool just being painted on. Originally, I wanted to go with a velvet chair in my kitchen. This is something that you would see in the Art Deco era, but also in a grand millennial modern apartment. But I instead opted to go for one of the popular chairs of the era, which is called the 𝚐𝚎𝚊𝚛 chair. So the 𝚐𝚎𝚊𝚛 chair was very well known in the 20s. It was designed in 1928. And it's said to be among the 10 most important chairs of the 20th century. So even if I did everything else wrong, at least I got these chairs that are decade accurate. These chairs are from Hernest, which was one of my sponsors. I also got a tulip table with a fake marble top. Obviously, marble goes really well within this decade. And I also got this other piece of furniture from Hernest that has a real marble top, and this is going to be holding my microwave and my coffee maker. And it also has a really pretty gold leaf design that I think works well within the Art Deco era. And since I'm already talking about Hernest, I wanted to introduce them because they are today's sponsor of the video, and this video would not be possible without them. If you haven't heard of Hernest, Hernest is a furniture brand that has so many different pieces that are meant for functionality along with being super, super cute. You will see a lot of mid-century modern pieces, which just fit perfectly into my home just because I like a little bit of vintage, but I also like a little bit of modern here and there. So I recently got their mid-century love seat. This is my first ever couch. I'm so excited because I've always had just chairs. So I have been eagerly awaiting this item, and because I'm in the middle of redoing all of the rooms in my apartment, living room being one of them, I was excited to finally have a couch in my living room space because it's the focal point I'm kind of designing everything around, and it just made my living room look 1,000 times nicer. I think the simplicity of the couch and the color of the couch works so well in a tiny apartment like mine, and it's just absolutely perfect for what I was going for. If you are interested in checking out the furniture Hernest has to offer, be sure to click the link below in the description box. Thank you so much to Hernest for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to the makeover. After my wall was dried and I got to see what it looked like after a couple of days, I realized it just was lacking, and I wanted to try to put either a wallpaper or a design on it myself, and I opted for doing a design myself. I got this idea from somebody I found on TikTok. Her name is the 𝚐𝚎𝚊𝚛. I will link her below. And she did this wall. I did mine slightly differently, but it's pretty much exactly the same. And I have a longer tutorial on how I did this on my channel if you want to see that more in detail, but I'm just going to kind of skim over the process here. All I did was create a stencil on some watercolor paper using a bowl. I cut it out, I drew up a design that I was wanting to put on my wall, and then I just started using my stencil on the wall. This was one of the easiest DIYs I've ever done, and it will save you so much money if you're looking to get wallpaper, but you don't want to spend, you know, $100 up to $150 a roll. You really don't have to do that. This was incredibly easy. I wanted to create some larger designs to kind of bring the eye up to make the room feel taller. I'm already working with a space that feels much smaller than normal because of the color I went with, so anything to kind of make the space feel larger, I wanted to do that. That also included getting rid of that picture frame I originally wanted to put in the center of the wall and put a mirror there instead, so that way it would reflect some of the light from the window back into the room to make it feel lighter, brighter, and larger. It's really, really easy to do. I thought it was going to be difficult. I thought it was going to be one of those projects that I set out to do and realized it's so hard, but no, it's actually really easy. I highly, highly recommend doing it this way instead of buying wallpaper that will cost you hundreds of dollars. This is a no-brainer right here. It's the best and easiest DIY I've ever done. Anyways, that being said, I decided since it's so easy, I'm going to create a couple more stencils and go even more above and beyond with this wall and do something a little extra, because this is great, but I don't know what else is going on this wall as of now. So I want to add more of that Art Deco feel, more of those designs that you would see during that era to really make a good Art Deco accent wall. I don't know, so let me show you what I came up with. This is my stencil. I connected 4 pieces of paper together. I'm using watercolor paper, so it does have some structure to it. Luckily we have paint. If anything gets messed up, I can just paint over it, try again. That's not gonna happen because we're gonna get it right the first time. This is a lot easier than I thought, so therefore I have a lot of faith in this turning out. I'm gonna put this right here. Because I measured out the center of my scallop on this wall, everything is perfectly symmetrical. You know, I'm tracing the same size. So this is literally the same distance from the other side. So I know when I put this up, it's gonna look identical and symmetrical. Wow. I'm just so excited. So we're gonna draw this on the wall and finish up the rest of the design. I've been waiting to put this up. Look how pretty this is. Oh my gosh. Now that I know how big of a difference curtains make in a space, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see these up, to see if it makes the room feel larger, because right now it feels quite small because of the color of the paint I went with. Look, what am I doing? I'm doing this wrong. What am I doing? Stop. Okay. I actually really like the curtain a lot, which is why I got it, obviously, but I don't know, I think I haven't gotten used to it. I'm going to paint my fridge. I'm going to use my leftover paint. Originally I was going to get some wallpaper, but I decided against it because this fridge runs pretty loud and it might break. And if it does, it would suck to waste all that wallpaper for nothing. So I'm going to use my leftover paint from the green wall on the fridge, which you actually can do. And you are supposed to prime the fridge, but I'm not going to use primer. Instead, I'm going to use leftover spray paint that that I have, which has primer in it. I'm going to spray that on top, and then I'll paint the green over it, and then I will spray a sealant, which will keep it scratch resistant. That's my plan. Obviously, if you are going to do this, you should get a primer. I'm just using products I already own, and I know it's going to work the same. At least I hope so. Don't take my word for it. I don't want you to copy me and then have it done wrong. Just follow instructions online or get like a proper primer. I'm also going to be spray painting my handles gold as well, so I have to remove them, and we're going to try to finish this today. Why does this look so gross? Before I began, I set up 2 fans in front of my windows to ventilate the fumes. I wore a respirator mask because spray paint is extremely toxic, and I blocked off the kitchen entryway with a doubled up sheet. I could have just bought a paint primer to avoid the spray paint, but I was just using up what I already had, so this was a lot more messy than what it needed to be. So I kind of had a panic attack because when I sprayed the orange, I had my fan running to suck out the fumes to the outside world, and I don't know if you can tell, but it turned the entire thing orange because the particles were floating around, and then the whole kitchen was dusted in orange spray paint. And so I started cleaning the entire kitchen and cleaning the floor and cleaning the cabinets, and everything's clean now and nothing stuck, thank goodness. I mean, not that I can see, but I'm sure there's definitely still particles around here somewhere. And I decided to just spray my paintbrush and just paint it on so that way it wasn't flying everywhere. Obviously, the most ideal way to do this would be to do it outside to avoid any mishaps. Unfortunately, I did not have the luxury of being able to carry this outside and paint it anywhere. Very happy with how it turned out. I think it looks 1,000 times better. And now that I have something green over here and I have the green accent wall, it just really makes the space feel complete. But now that I'm seeing this and I'm looking at the curtain, I don't like the curtain. For my shelves, I used some wood that I found around my dad's house that he is currently tearing down. So, you know, free wood, got to take advantage of that. And all I did was cut off the corners and sanded them down. I thought this would be a cute way to kind of give shelves an Art Deco feel by giving them rounded edges. Currently raining, but we are going to sand the shelves, and I'm really excited to see how these are going to turn out. My original idea was to paint them green and have them on a green wall, but I ended up deciding not to do that and keeping them the natural wood color. Nice, beautiful, untreated wood. Look what just came in the mail. I am so excited because I thought these weren't gonna come until a couple of weeks, and they're already here. Oh wow, these are way nicer than I thought. Considering the price, $2 to $3 a piece. I love this one. So Art Deco. So I've been collecting 1920s Art Deco inspired decor for quite some time now, just because this makeover is something I've been wanting to do for years. I have quite a few things that have been in my kitchen for a while and some new things, so I'm going to show you those things now. And I feel like decor is the icing on the cake, because depending on those small items that are in your kitchen that are always on display can make or break how it appears to other people. So I started with things that are on display, like for instance this spoon holder for when I'm cooking. Because this is something that's constantly sitting on my counter, I wanted it to look nice and be cute. The next thing I replaced was my soap holder. I know, it's called soap dispenser. Don't get heated, it's fine. And I purchased this from HomeGoods for, I think it was $4. And I just felt like this design worked really well in my Art Deco kitchen. Some of the other items I got that are in my cabinets, but I am going to display these on the shelves, are these Art Deco inspired glasses. I got these glasses in sets of 4. This one was from Z Gallery, and these ones I actually got from HomeGoods, and it is recycled glass, so it does have a tint, like a color to it, but I actually really like the color and I like that it's recycled. I got this pink dish towel with some pinstripes on it to display and add some color. Originally, I wanted green and pink in the kitchen, like lots of pink, but after I added the green, I just realized it kind of looked weird. So I opted for, you know, a hand towel and a few other items, which I'm going to show you later. And I got this from Temu, and it was the same one from Amazon, and it was, I think, $4 instead of $20, which is crazy. And it's literally the exact same hand towel. I also got another tiny pink candle from IKEA. I don't really love this one. I mostly just got it for the color, but it's not really cute. There's nothing special going on here. I got this item from Temu and it cost me, I think, $1.98 for this candle, and I don't plan to light it, it's just for decoration. What I started doing when I want an item is I'll find something maybe on Pinterest or Instagram, and I will Google image search it, and it will show me where I can find that item for the cheapest price, and it just happened to be Temu every time, so you know, there's nothing I can do about that. I thought a good opportunity to add in some color would be when I added in feathers, because this is something you would see in the 1920s. There's either 10 or 15 in here from Temu, again, I know, for a couple of bucks, and I just stuck it into this tiny glass container I already had, and I plan to put this on my dining room table. I got these mirrors from the 99-cent store that I DIY'd for another video, and I just spray painted them gold. I got this cute tea container that contains tea from, I think it was TJ Maxx. This little storage container I got from the 99-cent store, and I spray painted the lid gold. I haven't spray painted it in a while. It's very old, so I probably should do it again so it's a little brighter. I put my sugar in here, and I don't know if I'm going to display this, but if I do, it's definitely a more attractive way to display it as opposed to having a bag of sugar out. Because I have no dishwasher here and I have to hand wash dishes, I got a bamboo scrubby, which looks way more attractive than having a plastic one. And I got this gold tray to put my scrubby on so that way the water doesn't get all over the counter. I also tried propagating plants and they're not going so well, but I collected kombucha bottles and cut off some stems from my plants that I currently have, and I am going to display these in the window. I also plan to display my teacups that I thrifted from a flea market a long time ago for $10 a piece. They are green and pink, which is the exact color combination I wanted to go for. I also want to put my teapot on the shelf as well. This is a Disney teapot. Yeah, it's not technically Art Deco or anything, but tea was a popular activity in the 20s, so it feels fitting. I also have some retro appliances that I purchased. I have this retro toaster from Amazon, and I got the microwave recently as well. I love the microwave. It looks very, very vintage and old, and it fits really well with the vibe I'm going for. And the last item I plan to display is this amazing, beautiful resin clock. It is an art piece in itself. I had a friend that gifted this to me. She makes these, and I've never had a place to display it because I've never had anywhere nice enough to display it. This is a really nice clock. Now that I have the kitchen and I'm making it over, it's going to fit perfectly. So I'm going to put this probably over the stove because I feel like that's the best spot for it. I first thought to put the clock up right at the end of the kitchen. It just looked so awkward. The height was weird. I left it there for a couple of days just to feel it out, and I realized no, this isn't going to work. So I ended up moving it to over my oven. Then I just added in all of those decor pieces I showed you earlier into different places in my kitchen. I added my gold mirrors right when you walk in. I thought this was the perfect spot for them. I couldn't think of a better spot to put these, so this is where they went. Also, I did film this throughout many months, so you might notice, you know, the wall's not done in the background. Trying to keep everything clumped together, like the whole decorating part together, although I did decorate at many different times throughout this makeover. I also ended up using this mirror I already had. I know there is ornate detailing on top, which technically is not 1920s, but this is something I already owned, meaning I did not have to go out and buy anything else. Also, good way to bring in some light into my kitchen because it is so dark. I did thrift this mirror and I spray painted it gold. I added that ornate detailing myself and I think it cost me $8. Now, if you're wondering why I am folding my prints and taping them to the back, it's because they did not fit perfectly, but I did not want to cut the print just in case I happen to change frames in the future. And because it's a canvas material, it's not going to wrinkle if I fold it. I thrifted my frames from a store kind of like Goodwill in Utah, and I got them for I think like $1.50 a piece. And then I got rechargeable lights to put underneath the cabinets in my kitchen. I got these from Temu. It was sent to me for free, but they were really cheap. I think they were like $5 and they are magnetic, so very convenient for nighttime. I got something really cool. I got a battery operated gallery light, which is so cool. It has different light modes, as a warm, as a cool, it dims in brightness. And because I have no outlets to plug lights into, I wanted to have more lighting in my space without taking up those outlets. A good way to bring in other lighting other than that overhead light, which I just do not like at night. And it will light up the artwork, which is so cool. I love it. This is my most exciting purchase so far because I've always wanted one of these. I also decided to remove the yellow because I did not like it. It felt like a circus, and just put on white temporarily. I do not like the white. You know, it's not my favorite, but whatever, it's fine. Working with what we have. Hello. We are on the last stretch. I'm putting up the final items in the kitchen right now. So I'm putting up my shelves. I got a 4 count of 2.5 inch L brackets. And I'm going to paint them white so that way you can't see them, but they will be covered by items on the shelf too. To cover my L brackets, all I did was use some basics white acrylic paint. Nothing special, just super simple. Covered it up as best as I could and I was done. After I decorated my shelves, I realized I did not like the color of them. It felt very farmhouse to me. So I decided to stain them with brown acrylic paint that was watered down. Okay, so remember how I had the clock back here? So I decided to put it's like a tea light holder, kind of looks like a window from another makeover I did, and it looks awesome. It looks perfect because it's so long, so it kind of gives the room more height, and it also has the arch, which fits really well with Art Deco. And I mean, you know, it's not gold or anything special like that, but I think it makes everything look more cohesive. I don't know, let me know what you think. I did buy little plants as well that I'm going to be putting in the tea light holders. Thought it would be a good way to bring in more color over here, bring in that green, and okay, let's do it. Now it's time for the last step, and that is to add my light fixture. I've never changed out a light fixture in an apartment, but I know it would make such a big difference because I hate these freaking lights. I got this one from Temu for $12. Insane. It's a really cool light. I felt that it worked well within the Art Deco theme, and I didn't realize there was going to be this circle on the ceiling, so I decided to paint it green to bring the green from the walls to the ceiling and just add a little something extra, you know, and also hide that big ugly circle.
Turn on.
Yay! All in all, this makeover ended up costing me around $157. I'm not including my appliances such as my toaster and my microwave. Those are things I had to buy because I did not have them. And that is also not including my chairs and the side table. The makeover is done, and now it's time for you to see the final reveal. So let's get to it. Don't judge me. Don't judge me too harshly, okay? Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I recapped the last couple of months doing this makeover and going through the journey with me. It was a lot. And if you've been one that's been wanting to have a 1920s kitchen makeover, maybe this inspires you to do so and actually go for it. If you are looking for any materials that I happen to use in this video or specific items, I will list things that I, can find for you below in the description box. Yeah, I just think it's so cool to have themed rooms. I challenge you to do it yourself. Anyways, thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.